There are times when doing nothing at all is the most effective action if you are exposed to such injustice or mistreatment and have decided to keep quiet. You're not displaying weakness. Rather, you're exhibiting strategy. When you take a step back and let the universe handle your problems, the most amazing comebacks occur because they were so focused on keeping an eye on you that they were entirely ignorant that a bigger power was doing the same thing. Some warriors battle with swords, while others use words. However, the most formidable warriors battle in quiet, demonstrating a cosmic patience that puzzles the foe and is consistent with the laws of the cosmos. You did not lower your frequency to match theirs when they hit. Rather, you ascended via prayer, music that linked to higher realms, and affirmations that created new neuron pathways of power inside your awareness. You were able to turn the poison into medication. This was the general consensus among the group members. They recognized your energy's hallmark, how it resisted corruption and maintained its integrity, even when integrity looked to be folly. This is no coincidence. Rather, it is the outcome of divine choosing. It is always those whose souls can withstand the fires without turning to ash and becoming the identical darkness that they fight against, who is subjected to the fire trials. You are presently feeling a scorching sense of information inside you, including downloads from places beyond the veil and insights into the actual nature of what occurred. You have been chosen to receive these insights, and it is not your responsibility to broadcast them to deaf ears. Rather, you are to keep them sacrosanct until the designated moment. This information is not meant for casual conversation. Rather, it is a spiritual message sent to you because your awareness is capable of handling its weight. At this point, your comprehension of this injustice transcends beyond the realm of argument and logic. It connects with the domain of pure understanding. The mechanics of cause and effect that govern this universe have been brought to your notice with pinpoint precision, and you have received a glimpse behind the curtain of reality at this time. Your wisdom is quite beneficial. Before the moment of revelation, the holy must be protected from the view of profane people. Those who cause tumult against you are unaware of this basic truth. Whatever is buried in the shadows will eventually come into touch with the light. While larger forces were preparing for the final reveal, their fleeting success was always a fantasy, a cosmic distraction. Meanwhile, the big surprise was coming. Your aroused senses are the wellspring of this consciousness. They are the ones that spot interruptions in the field that others completely ignore. This awareness does not stem from paranoia. You have seen a change in the veil that divides worlds, and as a consequence, you are now able to detect things that have always been, but were previously concealed from your perception. Despite this, you continue to shine even when under the microscope of scrutiny. That is what confuses them the most. Despite their attempts to dull your light and cause you to shrink out of fear, you end up becoming greater. Your world is being altered by new beginnings, much like fresh water dashing against old stone. This is occurring despite their best efforts to keep you trapped into outdated narratives. Their jealousy is hardly more than confirmation. Would they devote so much attention to watching a helpless being? They are watching you because you symbolize what they dread the most: true power that cannot be given or canceled by an external authority, power that comes from the source and flows through a vessel that has not been corrupted. The very fact that you exist calls into question their sense of power. Witness the unraveling of those accountable for the injustices perpetrated against you. Consider how their planned attacks deteriorate into a desperate effort to defend themselves as a consequence of their own web of falsehoods. The liar is now bewildered. The player suddenly realizes that they are playing a game with rules they have never fully understood. Their digital fingerprints, which were previously randomly distributed over email messages, documents, and texts, now pose a danger to their very life. Behold their frantic attempts to remove, modify data, and create ambiguity in the exact location where they had previously established a conspiracy. However, there are no exceptions to the universal rule of evidence. It is impossible to completely erase all that has previously occurred in the cosmic record. You did not get here by chance. You were guided. If something in your soul is stirring, do not dismiss it. Tap Join to get access to unique information, prophetic insights, and a community of purpose-driven individuals. This is not just a membership. It's time for you to come into harmony. Take the steps necessary to become the person you were meant to be. Welcome to the Chosen. The upheaval your enemy is experiencing is not due to luck. Rather, it is a divinely organized chaos designed to reveal the truth. Through contrast, while they attempt to cover tracks, they are just producing more visible disturbances in the field itself. They reveal the whole network of involvement by reaching out to allies for help with the expectation of obtaining it. They are attempting to rewrite history, and as they do so, the original script becomes more clearly defined in contrast to their thoughtless changes. They are starting to see a deterioration of their financial base. The natural law of energy return causes the resources they utilized against you to gradually diminish over time. The identical thing they projected forth is now reflected within with mathematical precision. There is no completely lost item. Everything is just changed and returned to its original state. The cosmos works using perfect equations. Make a mental note of these words with your full attention, and enlightenment is on the horizon, requiring no action from you. The divine timing, a mysterious power that operates outside of human calendars and convenience, has been at work the whole time, moving pieces over the cosmic chessboard. While you have kept your dignity, rewiring is underway to expose the strategies they employed to gain an edge over you. The corruption they thought was securely buried will be exposed in such a horrible way that they will have nowhere to hide. This criminal, who previously felt they were invisible, is now a big figure on the universe's stage. People who have joined with people who oppose you, such as strange neighbors, accidental betrayers, and calculated opponents, will be surprised and recognize this exposure. Some people will continue to deny until it is impossible to deny, while others may go to great lengths to distance themselves from what they once passionately engaged in. Some may have a profound spiritual awakening as a result of seeing the consequences in their purest form. All of this would not be possible without your orchestration. A more sophisticated intelligence was planning as they were plotting the whole fabric of reality, striving to plan in realms they couldn't reach while scheming in chambers they built for themselves. It was never your obligation to enforce this justice. Rather, it was your responsibility to stay steady in your truth while cosmic law worked with meticulous precision to complete the inevitable revelation. I need to take a short break from this broadcast owing to an emergency. You have been chosen, correct? Consider this. Viewing films on the people of your choosing is straightforward. Putting oneself to the test is a very other kind of action. When I encountered the icons that reside outside of our world, one thing became crystal clear. Truly picked ones are quite rare. They giggled when they thought of how we would meet. Regardless, you are now reading this message. They never realized that their assaults were initiation disguised as battle, and they were unable to grasp this owing to the limited frequency of their attacks. Each assault against you throughout the process of changing your awareness into diamond consciousness caused an evolution inside your spiritual DNA. Their efforts to ridicule you under pressure fueled the shift. This spiritual growth was not coincidental. Rather, the divine purpose had been hidden underneath the agony. As a consequence of the fire that was meant to kill you, you were converted into a vessel capable of holding greater frequencies of truth. Not penalties, but accelerated development disguised as suffering. The teachings inherent within injustice were not punitive. Your forebears saw the transformation. The difficulties that look to be the most personal and arbitrary are the ones that awaken their knowledge, which is transmitted via your DNA. What seemed to be random cruelty was really precise spiritual surgery, which comprised removing whatever that was keeping you from reaching your full potential and generating exactly what your soul needed for the next stage of its growth. In the not-too-distant future, you will be able to see what mystics throughout history have referred to as the Great Reversal. This is the mysterious turning moment at which everything that seemed to be working against you suddenly shows itself to be working for your ultimate good all along. If your heart is overflowing with God's blessings, let that love radiate. Click the super thank you button and donate $10 or more to sow seeds of faith that will save countless lives. Your giving exemplifies His richness. Be a channel for his grace, and watch his kingdom grow through you. Business ventures that looked to be stagnated would now flow with coordinated ease. It is envisaged that the formerly constrained creative expression would emerge with a renewed feeling of energy. The broken connections will be repaired via partnerships with such perfect resonance that you will be astounded by the exchange. Prepare for the eventual outburst from those who believe they are losing control of the situation before this magnificent unfolding comes to a close. When the truth is about to be disclosed, the deception loses its efficacy, and their confusion grows. The frantic grab for control will inevitably manifest as rage. No, this is not a demonstration of strength. Rather, it is the final gasp of a dying worldview. The eruption of wrath aimed toward your satisfaction, growth, and persistence is an indication that they are aware of the impending expose. They are not upset with you, but with the cosmic order, which cannot be permanently contaminated but may be momentarily twisted into a new shape. Witness this eruption with the impartial sympathy of someone who understands why it occurred. Their rage is intended to mask their terror, which is the existential dread of facing events that have been purposely set in motion via conscious choice. Even while it provides for a great lot of freedom and activity, the world never distinguishes between action and effect. Now, this immutable law is closing in on them like a net woven from their earlier decisions. The spiritual decline they have experienced contrasts sharply with your own progress as your awareness expands to include more light, truth, and actual power. There's collapses under the weight of denial, dishonesty, and frantic efforts to defend oneself. You did not design this diverging route. Rather, their option was made clear by the universe judicial system. Take a step back with heightened awareness, and keep an eye out for the pattern that is emerging from what came before. Chaotic. Observe how each attack on you fits nicely into a larger strategy for your awakening. Pay notice to the fact that each betrayal severed the exact linkages that would have obstructed your route to the greatest level. Recognize that each hardship prompted the development of exactly the spiritual muscles essential for your soul's future advancement. The inquisitive persons who were seeing your wealth were unaware that they were witnessing a demonstration of a universal principle, even though they were working in the shadows. The serene individual was unaware that they were merely executing a task that had been assigned to them. During your activation process, the individual entranced by your motions had no idea they were watching a cosmic initiation taking place in human form. Just as the ocean is more than a single drop of water, this heavenly orchestration is greater than human orchestration, despite the fact that they were merely characters in a narrative written at higher levels of awareness than they could reach. Your persecutors misled themselves into believing that they were the authors of your tale. Their limited viewpoint stopped them from comprehending the multidimensional chess that was being played via their predictable acts. The spring introduces the person who lives in the mansion and has blue eyes and pale hair. This person is a member of a group of manipulators who feel they are invisible revelries regarding water and vessels, as well as persons with darker and lighter complexions playing their respective roles, which are revealed over the season. The winter season is almost around the horizon, at the critical juncture when private sorrow meets public reckoning. This underlying rule of cosmic time requires that these seasons of revelation unfold without your involvement. Because they are in accordance with it, the law of the universe can enforce itself with absolute accuracy. For millennia, mystics have managed to endure persecution. Because of this truth, cosmic justice keeps its perfect accounting without speed or delay. Even when human justice systems fail due to corruption by the very forces they claim to regulate, those who have engaged in the trafficking of things or energy via dishonest middlemen are now liable to cosmic responsibility. The activation of security measures beyond their understanding was caused by the hacking of systems, whether technical or spiritual. Their tiny abode has secrets that will soon be revealed. Their commercial activities, which were built on sand, are now faced with an impending tsunami of reality. Some people are worried about the confinement of human-made prison cells. However, a far more significant constraint is on the horizon. the imprisonment inside the consequences that one has manufactured for oneself. If the structures of deceit are taken down, they will supply the perfect outlines of justice that are fashioned according to the exact behaviors that they were designed to hide. You aren't here by coincidence. Feel the pull tap. Join to discover truth, purpose, and the tribe who understands it. This is more than just a membership. It's your call. You were protected during this orchestrated pandemonium. However, it did not always take the form of anything recognizable. And it didn't always take the shape of exterior interventions that you might attribute to higher forces, since the energy formed a barrier around your field. What could have killed a being with less protection has been deflected whenever there is a genuine threat. This heavenly protection will respond proportionally. The fortifications around your energy got more sturdy as the assaults became more fierce because subtle manipulations took the place of direct assault. Your intuitive discernment grew stronger, allowing you to recognize what your physical senses might miss. It wasn't a coincidence. Rather, supernatural intelligence adjusted its protection to meet the world's ever-changing expectations. Your attackers assumed you were standing alone because they couldn't see the legions guarding you. Their spiritual blindness prevented them from realizing what your rising awareness suggested. The fire of initiation is never crossed by a chosen individual without the presence of a companion. The forces that led to your selection for this duty ensured that you would be provided with the necessary protection to complete it successfully. This in no way implies that you have been saved from hardship. Protection never promised that there would be no pain. Rather, it guaranteed that the pain will serve a purpose. It not only ensured that you would survive all wounds, but that no injury would jeopardize your mission. Understanding the nature of spiritual struggle and cosmic justice requires a thorough understanding of the contrast. Prepare for the reveal of phony buddies. People who have shown loyalty while serving other masters as the revelation process progresses. This exposure may initially be uncomfortable, but you should see it as an extra layer of protection. Another eradication of whatever would have ultimately gotten in the way of your highest root. As this divine unveiling continues to unfold in its perfect manner, all of these personalities that are around you will be faced with the harsh light of reality. These characters include the individual who seems to be decent but has gambling issues, the stalker who is preoccupied with spiritual language, and the witchy gang that functions by subtle persuasion rather than true power. All of these shadows develop not as a consequence of your exposure, but as a result of the natural, intense vocation of light that comes with spiritual progress, including their greed, addictions, and obsessive need to control what scares them, are all instances of these shadows. Your frequency increases. Anything that cannot meet that frequency must transform or go. This spiritual law prohibits any kind of compromise or compromise. From a limited viewpoint, what looks to be betrayal is really necessary sifting. When viewed through the lens of enlarged knowledge, would you choose to move forward while being surrounded by people who are secretly working against your ultimate good? You are about to advance to the next level of service and power, and the universe loves you so much that it cannot keep such contamination hidden. As you go through the purifying procedure, your true purpose will become more and more apparent not only to you, but to everyone who has eyes to see it. A renewed power is now pouring through the creativity that was once assaulted after being weakened in the past. The firm is now matched with prospects who have excellent resonance. The gifts that were formerly overlooked may now find channels for expression aimed toward the people who are supposed to receive them. A direct manifestation of divine awareness of the universe, observing your perseverance through difficulty and reacting with proportionate support. This is not due to chance or coincidence. Rather, it is a direct expression of divine recognition. The quantity of money taken has grown. What had previously been hindered is now going ahead with increased vigor. Things that were before obscured are now clearly visible. In order to advance in your work, you will need to undergo spiritual cleansing. This isn't because you're corrupt. Rather, it is because you have passed through tainted energies that have left a trace on your field. The spiritual foolishness under discussion is more than just a ceremony. Rather, it is a realistic energy management technique that entails removing attachments that, if left uncontrolled, will impede the clarity of your next vision, download, or direction. This next phase needs mental clarity and the capacity to communicate effectively, both of which are provided by the strong air sign influence. Individuals walking similar roads of initiation may now acquire activation codes via your words. When you speak from this pure awareness, you not only broadcast information but also transformation, which serves as a catalyst for awakenings in those who are capable of receiving such vibrations. What happens goes beyond just vindicating oneself. Your own justice is only one thread in a much larger cosmic ray that connects the universe. The disclosure of what was done to you shows manipulative processes that have been in place for years without any scrutiny. Your own experiences can be used as a model for applying universal principles. This explains why you sense as if something enormous is drawing closer to you, the size that appears out of proportion to your specific situation. Persons with public platforms, others with celebrity status, and some with institutional influence are all caught in the same net of disclosure. This is not because they are relevant to your unique circumstance. Rather, it is because the same cosmic cleaning workforce deals with comparable breaches in several domains at the same time. Inquisitive persons who monitor your wealth are now vulnerable to scrutiny. The interesting and gorgeous person that had been working in the shadows is suddenly standing in the light, which is unnerving. Those who moved from behind the walls of the house are now confronted by foundations that are disintegrating by obeying the same universal rule via a variety of forms. These concurrent discoveries form a symphony of justice that spans numerous octaves of effect. As these revelations accelerate and intensify, your viewpoint remains unshakable. You must stay steady in the truth without the need to compel its acceptance. The confirmation you seek from others becomes more unimportant when you are surrounded by undeniable proof of your actual viewpoint provided by the universe. You may now see through the bright light of revealed deception, causing the gaslighting that previously forced you to doubt your reality. To melt, continue with your spiritual practices, not out of desperation, but out of knowledge and harmony. You are now increasing your progress via dawn. Thanks to the prayers, music, and affirmations that kept you going during the darkness, the obstruction around your field is fading. The instruments utilized for survival are now being employed as technology for manifestation, resulting in increased power.